Hey y'all, what's up? I am back. Just for temporarily. So I took a hiatus because life and work and overwhelming and all the things. And John Cena was right. So I remember he had an interview saying that somebody asked him, does he keep up wrestling? And he said, when I can. He said, people that keep up wrestling, it's a full-time job. And it is. And that's just watching Raw and SmackDown. Imagine if you watch Raw, SmackDown, NXT, TNA, ROW, GCW, MLB, I Say Wrestling. Um, what's the other one? North Carolina called? I forgot. It's one. It's one near Salem that's called something, and then it's one in Maryland. I'm thinking, but like, and then you got like, Rampage. Well, they don't do Rampage no more, right? Dynamite, and then Collision. Like, it's a lot, and I've only watched Raw, SmackDown, and I might catch TNA, NXT, ROW, okay, MLW once in a while. But I had to take a hiatus, so I'm still backed up from. So I watched all of Saturday Night Main Event tonight. The last thing I watched, like I'm still like a month behind. So I just got done finished watching the Raw after the last Saturday Night Main Event that happened in May 24th. So I watched the Raw after that, and then I watched May 30th SmackDown. So like that's how far behind I am. I'm trying to keep up to make sense of the PLEs, because even if they do a flashback, sometimes like some of the stuff they don't put in the flashback leaves it out. But I will say, I was surprised at certain things like Webb's Tomatonga, because like I said, I haven't watched it, so I got to figure out. Somebody say he's injured. I don't know. I didn't know. I knew beefing Jacob and Solo was going to commence. I knew that Solo had won the U.S. Championship. I don't know how, so I can't wait to watch how. I know it's kind of interference, but I like to know the details of stuff. Um, I I was trying to figure out. So like the first match was my brain, because we ended up watching it late. So when we turned it on, it was Jimmy versus Solo, and then Haku Baby is there. Haku Leo, I don't know if that's still his name at WWE, and Tonga was there. So I was like, "Where's Tama at?" But then when them two and then the guys helped with that. Jacob came out and tried to help Jimmy, and people was like, "This is his first solo match." And I said, I so desperately want him to get a solo title. I know they're not going to give it to him yet because they just gave it to Solo. Um, I want him to have the U.S. champion. Like for me, I want him to have one because I feel like people are always going to compare him to his brother, even though they don't feel like that. But before and even still, I feel like I love Jimmy now. Jimmy has better mic skills, but because Jay has been solo longer, because the first time he was solo, Jimmy was injured. Jay has become a better solo wrestler. Like Jimmy is so into tag team still that anybody he tags up with now, it's like that. It clicks. It's automatic. You know what I'm saying? It's muscle memory. But with the solo matches, he's becoming better. Like he's added the spear in his repertoire and stuff like that. Because when he first tried to go solo before WrestleMania, I was like, yeah, I was like, I said, once he gets there, he'll get there. So that's the first thing I saw. The second one, then I rewound it and saw Drew versus Randy. I don't even know how that came about because, like I said, I have not been watching. But the one thing I'm glad about is that Drew, after the cage match, because I did see that at the last Saturday Night event with Damien, he got up off Damien. And I said, I don't know how long he's going to be on Randy. Okay? Because we know before he was his obsession with Damien, it was CM Punk. And then before that, it was Jay. And then before that, it was Roman. And that's been the 3 years I've been watching. I've been watching a little bit over 3 years. Well, if I take the 2-month hiatus out, I've been watching exactly 3 years. Because I started, I think the week that Naomi and Sasha dropped their titles. I either watched that week. I think they're supposed to be on SmackDown and didn't show up, or I first watched. Yeah, because I watched the Monday. I watched that Raw that Monday, and then the Friday they were supposed to be on it. They didn't show up, and then people were saying whatever. Cole was displaying the message or whatever. But yeah. So like the whole Jellyroll thing, the whole Logan thing. I will say this though about Logan. Logan Paul, like I said, I was talking to my sister's boyfriend who's a big wrestling fan because we're all at the house chilling. We were having a conversation watching it. And I was like, to me, Logan Paul is funny as hell. I said, a lot of people hate him because of stuff that he's done and said on social media. I don't know of any of those things. Like I've said, outside of the woman that was in a recent Olympics and he kept saying that she was a man because she was born out. She was actually born that way. It wasn't the fact that she had a sex change. She just had a Y chromosome, even though she had female parts. Like, okay, so that's the ignorance in that, because he talks before he thinks. That's where the hatred and stuff comes in. Like, he's really ignorant as hell. But I'm like, if you watch his vlogs, even on Impulsive, I'm like, he's really funny. Like, that Humble song is a whole satire. I'm cracking up because I'm like, he's humble. How can that? And then say all this stuff. And then when you listen to the lyrics, I'm like, none of that displays humbleness. And then, like, the beef with Stu he has on and all the things. And then some of the stuff he says, like, on, in the ring, I'm cracking up because I'm like, he's fun. To me, he's funny. Solo's funny. Dom is hilarious. Like, them three and Miz as heels are funny because it's like they're not even heels like that you hate them. They're just comical. Okay, like if you had to choose a side, of course you probably want to choose the other person. But when they do that promos, they're funny as hell. And then all of that, and then what else? So he comes out, and the first thing my brain comes out was because I was like, first, how low is the tallest hill? I want to know how he got to be 6'6", 6'7", because I said Damian and Drew are 6'4", 6'5". I said he looked like he taller than them. Okay, that's first thing. Second thing is, my brain. Yeah, they had the wrestling. They had brought out Jellyroll, and I was like, Jellyroll look good because he looked like he done lost some more weight. My son's father's one of his bandmates played for Jellyroll, and I met Jellyroll when I was pregnant with my son 13 years ago. No, 12 years ago. Sorry. And that was before he became like famous. He was doing gigs downtown, like how most people in Nashville do and stuff like that. His dad still lives there. All the things. So, he looks great. He looks like he's losing weight. But when I saw Logan, I was like, his arms look big as hell. And I know the last vlog when he lost against Jade, the last main event, Cena came out, that whole situation. But like, yeah. So I'm like, he looks huge with them, but I'm like, Logan's 220. But then I thought about when he had interviewed, was it Seth he had interviewed? And they was talking about like stylists and stuff like that. Or was it John was interviewing him? And he was like, I have a stylist. Like, Seth was like, if it was me, it'd be basketball shorts and a white shirt. And he was like, Kobe has a small closet. He was like, Seth has a huge closet. But then, like, Logan, he said he had a stylist too. And I said, so I was talking to my sister's boyfriend, and I was like, it's crazy how certain people have stylists. And I said, like, Logan. And he was like, yeah, some of that stuff be out there. I said, not even that. I said, he came to Atlanta in a white shirt with the sleeves cut off. I said, mind you, it was clean and crisp with some black pants with the pockets like some that my sons wear with some clean shoes. I said, I wonder how much the styles get paid. I said, because he could have paid me. I could have put him in that. It's been a few times he's come to Raw. And I was like, his stylist dressed him. or pick these clothes out. I was like, how much is this person getting paid? And why am I not getting paid to do this? Because one thing I know how to do, okay, even though I am mostly in black plain Jane, like if I'm doing hair, if I am interior designing something, that's when my artistry comes out. If I'm styling someone, like you gonna look now. If you want to look like something was thrown together but still look stylish, I am that girl for you. Okay, but just like when I design a room, I put clothes together from the bottom up. So like based on the shoes is how I'm putting your outfit together. So if I pick these shoes out for you, because that's how I used to shop and dress. Like if I pick out some shoes that's like green, yellow, blue, purple, orange, I'm picking out a couple colors that's in my shoe. That's gonna match my shirt. And then if I wear jeans, have the jeans on with the shirt. And then I might bust out with some like jewelry. And then like a small piece of my jewelry or my necklace might have like one of the colors of my shirt. You know what I'm saying? Like something simple, but it pops. So like I was like, I could have did that. Okay. So then I forgot it was Evolution the next day. So I said, I don't know who are they not having any women's matches because of Evolution tomorrow? At all? None at all. And then this is the first, I think, Saturday Night Main Event in a while that has not had a women's match in it. Like it had, because after that, I think they showed like Rhea and Io, they're going for the championship again. And then they showed Jade. And he's like, oh my God, that's my boo. Da, 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 da. So then they showed, no. So before that, when Drew and them came out, I said, watch this be a reason for Jellyroll to come to SummerSlam. Exactly what it was. And then Drew and them came out. So then Hurricane and them, Adam and Nick came out. I said, you know, serious when Nick come out. I said, Adam come out. I said, Adam be looking stressed. I said, that man be stressed out. I said, that's probably part of the reason why he ain't got no hair. And he was like, yeah, because they be having Adam makeup matches and stuff. I said, they be stressing that man out. I said, and he loves it in the sense that he hates at the same time. I said, he loves it because when they do the draft, he'll be sitting there like, I like these because I want people to shake it up. And I was like, but then you be stressed out. And I'm trying to figure out, when did they go to 2 hours and why did they go to 2 hours? You know what I'm saying? Like, I know you're having more Saturday Night Main Events. I know you're probably going to do more house shows, maybe pick them back up. But I'm like, unless Evolve becomes something like minor leagues for new talent, and then they move up to NXT, and then they move up to like SmackDown or Raw, like baseball. Like baseball, you got here in North Carolina, you got the Mudcats, which is like the minor leagues. And then like the second minor leagues, like a step up from that for the people that don't. Some people go straight from the Mudcats to pros. But then a step up from that is working like Durham Bulls or the Greensboro Grasshoppers. I think they're called the Grasshoppers. Something like that. And then I forgot who. I think my sister said Durham Bulls is a part of Tampa Bay or something. But you know what I'm saying? That's the major league. You know what I'm saying? Like the Tampa Bay Rays, I think. That's the major league. So I'm like, if it's going to be Evolve on Tuesday, on Wednesdays, that's going to be like the new talent coming in. Not all the reality shows and all that, everything. But that's going to be the people that come in that you hire, okay? That what used to be what FCW and NXT are, that really need development. And they have a couple of matches and they develop through there. And then we might have some storyline stuff like that on there to help with their mic skills and stuff. So nothing too serious. Enough to get them like how probably kind of like how FCW was, or maybe like NXT, was it 205 or something like that was? Like you knew the people kind of needed work, but they needed to be on TV and see themselves and study themselves, and people need to get to know them, stuff like that. Then if you're doing well enough, okay, then you could go to NXT. And then you help develop more there. Because there, NXT, you might not have a PLE every month like the main roster, but you got one every 2 months. So now you know what like a PLE is. Now you know what it's like to be in real storylines. Now more people are aware of who you are. Okay? Then you move up to the main roster. Or it could be you're good enough or you don't need to go to Evolve. You can go straight to NXT and then go to main roster. And then some people could go straight from Evolve, skip NXT and go to the main roster. Like that. Like, is that what we doing? Because why are we going back to 2 hours? I need to know. I need to read an article or something, figure it out. Watch a press conference, maybe a Money in the Bank or a Saudi, or are those the only two ones I haven't seen thus far? Yeah. And try to figure out, because the whole point of going 3 hours was because y'all have so much talent now. Y'all have so much talent. And I was like, and it made sense to me to have SmackDown 3 hours only because I'm like, it's a Friday night. If people that's already fans is watching SmackDown, we're going to still be watching it. We don't care. Like, the extra hour, don't faze us. But at the same time, if the writers are like slim and don't know what to write about, it makes sense to go back to 2 hours. But at the same time, like, you're not displaying enough. You know what I'm saying? You're not displaying enough of stuff. We have a lot of titles. And going back to 2 hours is going to limit any of those getting showcased. Like, yes, the U.S. champion now because Solo and Jacob was on it. The women's won because of Zelina. I think she lost it, but I'm not sure. I haven't watched it. The women, Tiffany's done the women's one. John has done it, but I was like, we haven't seen really no work from the women's tag titles, which I still think personally NXT need their own because they have enough women down here, and Raw and SmackDown should share one. We haven't even really seen the men's IC title. I don't even know who has the men's IC title. Who has it? Who has that championship? Nobody knows. Nobody remembers. Because it hasn't been displayed like that. Okay? Everybody's been after the Gunther one. The last person I know that had the IC championship, I think, was Braun Breaker. Jade had won it. Jade had lost it. I don't know who the hell has it. I honestly don't. Now I'm over here reevaluating my life. Who has that championship? Oh, who has it? I don't know. Lara has the women one. Gunther has the men's championship. EO has the women's championship. The New Day just lost the men's tag team championship. I'm trying to figure out, and I think Street Profits got the men's tag team championship in SmackDown. I'm trying to figure out or remember who has, and it's going to irk my nerves because I know it, but I don't know it. I know it, but I don't know it. I want to say it's like a Mysterio or somebody LWO. That's what I want. Dom has it. That's who has it. That's right. Because he's trying to complain about he shouldn't have to do no work because he's a champion. And Liv and what's her name got the. But I'm like, if you can display the writing better, it would be better. I think part of the reason why I also took a hiatus is because I was getting pissed off in a sense, and that's how I knew I was getting too deep in it. Like, I genuinely made the videos for me to enjoy it and to say what I needed to say and get it out and then just go about my business. But then I started getting upset because I'm like, yes, I love the fact that they sold the show, the money to be set as a family. But I was also pissed off because I'm like, it's an element that Vince had control of that Stephanie and them no longer have control of. And that's the people. Like, for me, if you needed to rent out where I live at, the Lenovo Center, for $5 million, right? Then you got to pay these people. The people that's working, they got to get their checks. All these people got to set up, stuff like that. Say, I don't know how much someone gets paid. Say if someone makes $360,000 divided by 12, which would be 30,000, and you divide that by 4, that'd be $75,000 $500 a week, right? Say that's what it is. And then you got 50 people in the roster. Okay, so it's 50 people times 7,500. That won't be 375. That would be, yeah, 3.3,750,000 maybe, right? Because if it's 100 people, yeah. So if it's 100 people, it's 7.5. I'm just doing this off the top of my head numbers. Okay, 3.75 million. That's with the talent, the managers, all of that. So I'm gonna say 100. I'm gonna round up to 100. 7.5. So now it's 12.5. And then you selling merch. You're selling. I don't know if you get a percentage. You get a percentage of the. I don't know if you get a percentage of the parking. And then I know you get a percentage of the sales and stuff like that. And so you need $12 million for the night. You know what I'm saying? And you make it where the tickets are $300 each. I don't know how many people was in the stand. Was it? They be like 15,000 people. So that is $4.5 million. So that covers the cost of the venue, basically rounding. So that's 4.5 million. The venue you had to rent for 5 million. So we just gonna say if the tickets are 300, that's 4.5. If they more 3 point, which they probably are average 300, because I know the floor seats is probably 1,000. I know from going to past shows. So if we say 400, okay. Excuse me. If it's 15,000 seats and it's 400, that's 6 million. You already up $1 million, and then you're merch and all this other stuff. So you make over that. Vince would, like, the thing with him is with the people is he made it enough so, and the people back then before that TKO took over, is that he made it enough so where he was able to pay his people. He was able to pay all the thing and then still be in the green. And some events you're not going to sell all the way out. So at least you hit the black. You know what I'm saying? You're never in the red. But it's affordable enough that people can go and it won't break their pockets. Now, okay, you go to certain venues, they done lost their mind. Like I still have to look at the tickets for the bottom section for Survivor Series, $6,200. It costs more going to Survivor Series than it do going to WrestleMania for 2 days. And this is why they say, oh, this is the largest gate. Because every time it's a 1 day or a smaller venue, y'all charge more. And I'm like, I understand that y'all want to make y'all money, y'all want to make a profit. But the thing about TKO is they're only thinking about it as a business. I said it's taking a human or humane aspect out of it. And that's why I didn't like. I couldn't get with that. So I had to take a break. Because I was like, even with certain stuff that wouldn't even fly. And I'm not even saying just with Vince. I'm just saying certain stuff, probably Triple H don't even agree with, but he has to because of he works for a different company. He works for a corporation now. And he has to do. And I'm like, it sucks. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then on top of that, I know the wrestlers have been the happiest they've been. So this has been enjoyable to watch. But to me, when I stopped watching, I also stopped watching because, and I know on LinkedIn, they were hiring, I think, for production and writers. Three or four of them got the same storyline. They just got different versions of it. And I was like, even if it was like that in the past, I was like, either I was so engulfed in it or it wasn't displayed like that. So it was hard to tell. Like John Cena, Naomi, and Becky basically got the same storyline. They blame the audience for being fair weather, finicky, this, then there. It's their fault. People don't appreciate them. And I was like, so nobody else came up with a whole new idea? I said, so y'all decided to make all three of them have the same idea? Two women on two different divisions, and then the man that's retirement on the same division. Like, so I was like, yeah, I can't do it. And it's not just me, because I recently went on Twitter this week, because I've been back on Twitter for the past 2 weeks, and I was told that the rating has been terrible. A lot of people are like checked out. Because somebody asked, was they excited for Evolution? Somebody was like, they didn't even push it well enough. That was like Saturday Night Main Event. They was like, and it's been like that for a while. So I don't know what's going on, but something needs to change. Because I'm like, yeah, we enjoy the matches and stuff like that because we love the people. Now, the ones that have been watching since they displayed on Netflix, or a little bit before, but when wrestling first started getting back cool again, like when I started watching 3 years ago, right after I started watching, I think, yeah, right. Did I watch? Was that WrestleMania when Cody? No, that was Hell in a Cell when Cody fought Seth. It's like I was watching like right there, right before Naomi quit and came back and all that other stuff. Right before wrestling got cool again, as they say. And I was like, for us that's engulfed into the characters and the people, we love them and we could separate the persona from the real person and stuff like that. I was like, and we enjoy the work. We don't care too much about the storyline, but I'm like, the main reason why I watch it is for the storyline. Outside of the storyline, it's the girls and the tag teams. Y'all know I'm here for the girls. I'm here for the factions and tag teams. And I feel like if you do them a disservice, I'm checked out. Like, the solo acts is cool. But a lot of the stuff, and I mean, I even love like the people that were in factions and left, like how Damien and Rhea became the Terra Twins, and then left, and then something, and now they're on their own, and like Rhea's bigger than ever. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not, or how amazing of a year EO's had from Damage Control to now. Like I'm not mad at that. I'm just like have stories that go with it. Even if it's something from the past, you know, like how before WrestleMania, Rhea and EO had brought up that, and then it brought up, oh, we used to be friends, and we used to war games together, and ever since NXT, I've never beaten you, like, and the commentators say it, and now I'm sitting here googling, looking up, like, make it interesting, okay, and make it with people that are interested, like, with that. So I know, so that I'm saying that because, okay. Before, okay, so with the Gunther and Goldberg match was the last match, but before that, it was Jade coming out. Naomi was talking. We was talking about how Naomi came out and all that other stuff, and I was like, Jade had to leave. I was like, to practice from what I was told, the performance center, and I was like, and she's come a long way. I was like, she's definitely improved. You could tell in WrestleMania and stuff like that. And I was like, I'm here for it. And I was like, hopefully this go round will be better than WrestleMania, because I'm like, even though I like Jade, I was like, Naomi carried that story in that match, okay? But when it came to Gunther and Goldberg, I don't know how much of a hype they did that, because I honestly thought, okay, it was Seth versus LA Knight, and I was completely surprised that LA Knight won that. And my sister's boyfriend was like, I don't think he was meant to win that match, but because of Seth's knee, he had it. So if people was asking, has anyone ever been injured and won Money in the Bank? And people saying Mr. Kenny and then Edge and stuff like that. I was like, he got a whole year to cash in. So that wasn't even my fear, because I'm like, he got a whole year to cash in. He could go get surgery, have 9 months, come back and cash in as soon as he come back. That's not the issue I got. My issue is y'all built a whole faction and stuff around this man with Paul, with Bronson, with Braun. Now, if he has to go and undergo surgery or be out for a couple months, what are y'all going to do with them two? What's going to happen with them? Are y'all going to put someone else in the forefront? Like, what are we doing? And if y'all decide to carry this on, for me, I don't know if Dragunov is back here yet, because he's one of my favorites. He's one of the reasons why I love Raw. Him and Ivar and Seth. And I loved it when the Raw had all the girl tag teams on there. Okay? 2023 year was everything. You hear me? But, Not unless, because I know when Braun gets it, because he's like, Braun Breaker is a beast. I said, okay. And I was like, every time I see him, I'm pissed off that he's not a Raven. Because we could have used him, but because his dad and his uncle was there. He was in Atlanta. So, and it's crazy because they picked this weekend, and it's the same weekend Beyonce. I said, so they at the State Farm Arena. She's probably at the Mercedes-Benz Arena. I was like, if you're a fan of Beyonce and wrestling, you go get a twofer. I said, and if it's a WNBA game, you could hit all three in one weekend if you got coin like that. And I was like, Atlanta getting money, okay? But I'm like, what are y'all gonna do with this? Because y'all was gonna carry a whole story head and stuff like that. And if Seth got to sit out, what's gonna happen? You see what I'm saying? Like, are we gonna shift it? Are we gonna shift it so that Braun becomes a front man? Bronson is his enforcer or whatever you want to call it, and then we're like dragging off of somebody or Ludwig into the mix? Even though him and Braun has had issue before. Bronson and Seth has had an issue. And he's with Seth. Y'all could put Ludwig there with Braun. Ludwig, that triple threat with him, Sheamus, and Braun Breaker, to this day, in the past year, is still one of the best triple threat matches that year. Of that year, I don't know when that happened. What was that? Was that Backlash? Was that Saturday Night Main Event? Whatever that time was to the same time this year, it's one of the best triple threats of the year. Okay? And I was like, so where's Paul gonna go? Y'all been talking all this trash. And then he was like, I heard Roman come. I said, Roman just had a 6th baby. He said, 6? Golly. I said, yeah, because he got a daughter. And then I said, he said he had 2 sets of twins that are boys. So 4 boys. I was like, hopefully this baby a girl. And I was like, because he was saying how he been around twins basically his whole life because of, John and Josh. I said, and now he got four boys. He got 2 sets of twins. So I was like, God was preparing him to have twins. But I was like, that man ain't coming. So, and then the whole thing with the Gunther and Goldberg thing is, I thought that was a terrible retirement match. And he's able-bodied. I don't know how many weeks him and Gunther has exchanged pleasantries and all the things. Because like I said, I'm a month behind. Okay. So I'm just going based off of what I know. Okay. And the last thing I know is Gunther was supposed to wrestle Jade for the title because he said he was wrestling whoever won at the last main event. Okay. This is my thing. It has to be a build-up. Y'all have to have a chemistry. And I feel like if this is your retirement match, either don't tell nobody like Batista did and just go off on a cloud, or do it big. You hear me? Like, I know. He wanted to do it in Atlanta because he's never lost in Atlanta, but this is home. He said he had 100 people. But that match was terrible. Okay? I'm not a fan of Goldberg anyway. Never been a fan of his. The only reason why I watch WCW is for like NWO and Sting. Other than that, I'm a WWE girl. Okay? Always been a WWE girl. And then when I got older, and he said the misogynist things I think about, like Oscar last year, really was like, yeah, no, I'm glad I'm not a fan of him. Because you mad because a woman had surpassed your record. We're like, it's crazy. Not another wrestler, because she's a woman. Okay? That pissed me off. So, but I'm like, you ain't got to go on no farewell tour like John Cena. Okay? You ain't got to do that. Okay? Sting said he was having his last match at Evolution. And I think he might have helped Darby earlier in his match. But his last match, I forgot who it was against. I bought tickets to that too and did not go, and I regretted not going. But AEW does it where if they have a PLE, or if they have, like back then, if they had Dynamite Rampage, you'll be sitting there for 5 hours. The thing was on a Sunday night, okay, in March, because I remember. No, it was in May, because Raw came to Raleigh in March, and then in May AEW came to Greensboro, and he wanted to do it, here. And it was a Sunday night in May. Okay. I think it was Labor Day. Was it Labor Day? Was it Memorial Day weekend? But I was like, first of all, and it didn't end till 1 a.m., 1:30. And I know because I know mad people that went. And I said, I would have loved to see that. I said, but at the same time, I would have been so pissed off and so tired that and then I would have to drive an hour and 15 minutes back. Mind you, my son has family there. I was like, I wouldn't even want to open the door at 1 something in the morning for anybody, especially if I'm asleep. Like, I would have had to drive back. So that was the reason why I didn't go. But I'm like, do something like that. A good match with someone that you want to have it with, where the build up is nice and like you're beloved. But Sting is like a reoccurring person that's in there. I'm like, low key, Goldberg should have just announced him retiring, and that could have been it. Like, you ain't been in the ring in 3 years, 3+ years, and then decide to have a retirement. If you lost, you retired. So I didn't even know it was the stakes. I just saw him come out, and I was like, Gunther keeping that. I was like, because ain't no way they're going to make Goldberg the champion and then have him come out like Roman every 4 months. Like, that would do a disservice to Raw. But I didn't know it's if he lost, he retired. So he had a little speech and stuff like that. But I was like, outside of Spear and knocking Charles down, poor Charles, I said, that man been through enough Spear. I said, every time it's something he get knocked out. So, and when Nick said, since y'all want to do something, the best highlight of that night outside of, the bloodline was the girls. Because when Bianca came out, I said, watch it be Bianca. He said, we got a special girl, and she came out, I screamed. And my sister was like, dang, because she ain't really into wrestling. She swears. You have to argue her down, it's not fake. It's scripted, but it's not fake. The bumps and stuff are real. So I said, my sister was like, why you? And I said, first of all, I said, you don't understand the history. I said, this is the big three. I said, her and Jade was tag team. I said, then after that, I said, Naomi and Bianca was tag team. I said, and then Jade and Naomi was like cool. I said, they used part of their real life of them going to basketball games and hanging out outside of the ring as part of the story. I said, and then she, the whole thing with her hitting her and stuff like that and all the things. And I said, not only that, I said, but Bianca's caught in the middle. I said, because Jade is upset because Bianca ain't got her back because she's like, we're supposed to be cool. And now she pushed me and you're not doing nothing about it. And Naomi's upset because she's like, I try to help you because I feel like Jade was taking your spotlight and you not on my side. So I'm like, we're going to figure out who side Bianca's on with this. I said, that's the best thing about Saturday Night Main Event that happened like today. The best thing that happened. Okay? And it was the girls. Like I said, I'm here for the girls. But I was like, I said he could have just announced he retired. I said, or, okay, I know you want to do it in Atlanta. But if you got people that flew into Atlanta, you could have people flew into the mat and let that build a little bit. Or the next time y'all come to Atlanta, decide to have a retirement match. And maybe it not be the last match. Maybe it'd be the first one. But then after the show off, talk to the audience and stuff like that. And then WWE could have caught it, recorded it, and put it up on YouTube for us to hear and see. You know what I'm saying? Like, the match to me was nothing important. Like, he got speared. Because I was like, I said back then people was like, he only had 2 moves. And my son was like, I said 3 moves. My son said, no, 2. I was like, but I was like, I said, yeah, I'm not. And I was like, that's not no hate. But I was like, I saw the people chanting his name when he first came up. I was like, there was no like awe to it. It was none of that. And parts of the back seats were empty because my sister said, you see them seats empty? I said, they probably went to go see Beyonce. And then I said, or for the real wrestling people, wrestling heads, I said, you got I think All In is tonight. I said, you got that on TV. You got the Beyonce concert if you're here. Or is it tomorrow? Well, I don't know. It's one of them days. I was like, and then you got the Great American Bash earlier today. And I said, in all honesty, I said, if I had to choose between the Great American Bash and Saturday Night Main Event, I said, based on the card alone, I said, I'd have picked Great American Bash. I was like, I honestly forgot about it until I was, Saturday Night Main Event, he had mentioned it. And I was like, oh, snap. Because I was not looking for it. But, yeah, like, I would have did it that way. I would have did it so he would have built it up, talk trash some more. Or I don't know if he wanted Gunther or if he wanted someone else. But if he wanted Gunther, and this was the plan since October last year, it's been 7 months. Y'all didn't leave no breadcrumbs to let us know that this is going to be a retirement match. Or we was leading. Because I remember after Bad Blood, because y'all always watch the after PLE conferences. And they asked Triple H about Goldberg, and he said, if you want to get back in the ring, he can get back in the ring. So my thought was, when did Goldberg hit you up and was like, yo, I want this to be my last match? And if it was within a month, okay, y'all did the best y'all could do. But if it was a couple months ago, y'all should have sprinkled that in, that led up to tonight. Because it was not it. That should not have been. And I know y'all did it because it was his retirement match. But y'all, that should not have been the way it went down. That should not have been his last match. And then I have another question. Why every Saturday Night Main Event, y'all have Lillian announcing instead of Alicia? I'm so confused about that. If she's the number one announcer that y'all have, main event wise, to me, it's still her and Mike. I don't know who that guy is that sound like Mike, but ain't Mike. I don't know if I can give it. But I'm like, and I know she said she was doing other stuff, and I know she did Monday, but that was almost a week ago. I don't know where they're going to be at this Monday. I'm like, y'all could have had homegirl, even if she would have came in for the night. I don't know if she's doing Evolution. I hope so. Okay? Because my son was like, they need to bring Ricochet back to Raw. And I said, he been AEW. I said, they really need to bring Samantha back. And low key, I feel like if Ricochet hadn't have left, he would have been an IC champion again. And I stand on that. And I've been saying that since he left. And I said, because he was getting so much traction in Raw, and he felt like he was stagnant. But in all honesty, I felt like he's gotten the most camera time that time. Like when Dragunov and them came to main roster, when it was like Jay, especially like that triple threat was like him, Jay, Bronson, Drew, like all of the match with him and Logan. He was on TV every week, okay? And then for him to leave, it was like he felt like there was no more for him to do. And I was like, if you're on TV like that and people are finally knowing what you're, like people that don't know who you are knowing what your music is, and this, that, and third, that's when you should have went back to Triple H or creators and be like, hey, I know this is going well right here, but can we go this route? Because I'm like, now we're in a season where over half the rosters are heel. Okay? So you might as well. You might as well, because you could have been a part of that group, but you decided to leave. Now, like Bobby Lashley understood, because he was nominated on Raw, then he got to SmackDown. They had nothing for him. Then try to put him as a heel with the pride, with Street Profits, but people love Street Profits too much. So they had nothing for him. Like, that's understandable. And Shelton, they didn't even use him and fired him. Cedric, he was doing a good job in NXT, and he got let go. You know what I'm saying? But like Ricochet, they was using him. But like, if she's going to be in Evolution tomorrow, that makes sense, Alicia. But if she's not going to be in Evolution tomorrow, there was no reason why every Saturday night main event she is not there. Now you done took the place of Samantha. I feel like now being a main Watch people. Now let's, because I know she play in the band, okay? Now let's in her contract, she don't do Saturdays or every third Saturday because she got to play our rock band or sing our rock band. I'm like, all right, okay. But like, if not, girl, you need to be out there, okay? And I'm saying that with love because Lillian cool, but I don't like when she announced. Certain words she say hurt my nerves. I don't know. And it's giving retro. And we're trying to move forward for the company in a positive light and stuff like that. And I know you want to keep all the goodness of the past and the foundation of the past, but keep moving forward. And yes, some stories will repeat themselves, but it shouldn't be at the same time. Like that John, Becky, and Naomi thing. All the heel turns. It shouldn't be the same, basically the same basis of a story at the same time. Like if one, maybe like if it was like John and Becky, because they're not on the same brand. You know what I'm saying? And then have Naomi turn and or like Naomi and John. And then Becky turn, but her reasoning is different. Then that would be different. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, you have 3 people have the same storyline. Okay? 3 people. And then you basically got Seth doing what Roman was doing, because Paul had him with the audience with a couple of, when I was watching time, I was like, y'all need to acknowledge Seth. And I was like, but it's so much, because I was like, I made Zelina champion. She's got the best mic skills on the roster. Probably have her do no type promos. It's like y'all not utilizing these stars right, man. I wish I worked there so bad. First of all, my inquisitive mind will be back there over production, trying to figure out what the hell going on sometimes, because that drone don't be shaking like this, like it was today, and then the picture don't be as clear, and then it be shaking trying to get us balanced. I don't understand why they still use that for aerial view. Like, y'all might as well go old school and had a string with the camera like they used to have when they used to have to bring the camera across with the string, and do that. Okay, it'll be a clearer shot and it'll probably be straight. And then I want to be somebody manager if I was on camera, like have Paul as a mentor. But I would, like, some of the stories and stuff like that, I'm like, all right, Zelina's a champion. Let's get her to have a beef with this person, so we can tell her talk, because she's great on the mic. Let's get her to have, like, for U.S. Championship, I'm still waiting for Carmelo to get a championship. Everybody's that's got dropped away and that's been a champion at least once. He ain't been one at all. All they gave him was Andre the Giant thing. I'm still waiting for Santos to become the U.S. champion, because when he got injured, they gave it to Ray, and that's what caused the for him to go heel. And then them two off the gate. And then if you make Jimmy one, I want Jimmy to have to be one. He ain't gotta be one. He ain't gotta be one long. Even if he was one for 9 days, like his brother and Cody were tag champions, at least he was one. But I think, and then the person before Zelina got there, after Chelsea, the person that I could think of being a women's U.S. championship was Michin. But, and that's because I like her. And Michin is a workhorse. Like, she'll go work SmackDown, but then you'll see her in NXT on Tuesday. And then if it's a tag match with her and BFAB, she'll be on Raw on Monday. And she'll be like, I done worked at 5 different places in 4 days. Like, I like her. And her personality is infectious. But, like, if we were talking about people that's working on their skills, shout out to the dungeon with Natty. And at my skills for the next U.S. champion, it would be BFAB. Because she'll eat the girls up on the mic too. Okay? She'll eat them up. And that's just me. I just wanted to make this video to show my face, and to give a slight review of Saturday Night Main Event and the reason why I haven't been watching. But I'm watching when I'm home, you know, from work or at work, and if I don't trying to keep up with my podcast and stuff like that. But I'm watching because I gotta catch up, because I'll be lost sometimes. But then when I look at some of the highlights of some of the stuff, I'm like, I'm not lost. It's just the writing is bad. So hopefully it gets better. Okay. That's all I wanted to say. I hope you guys have a great night. If you're in Atlanta, be safe. Traffic is already bad, but with the Beyonce concert for 4 days, and with all the events WWE is hosting between NXT and the girls and Saturday Night Main Event and Friday Night SmackDown, traffic I know is out of control. Okay. Yeah. You all. Bye.